Cino. Cino, or Cino, but it's Cino. Cino. Anybody want to take a guess? What language?
I want to say
Or what it means?
Mexican.
Mexican?
Hebrew?
Maybe. Hebrew. Not even give you that option. Alright?
Cino, evil, Caro,
Well, I want to tell you there could be a lot of Cinos in here today. In fact, we all may be a Cino today.
Center.
Or then again, maybe none of us are a Cino. So what is a Cino? It's a Jeff term. Christian in name only. There's a Christian rock song from the mid-1980s, a group called White Heart. And probably myself, Dana, and maybe Jeru, but Mary Ann will be the only probably other person that probably know this group, but White Heart. They had a song called Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Christian. You know, you get to play off the words there.
Yeah.
These are the words. It says, you wear a Sunday suit and tie, everybody thinks you're such a guy, climbing up the American dream, got the whole world on a golden stream. You've got the glow, a shining face, a respectable man with holy taste. You got that family pew reserved. When the hymns are sung, your voice is heard. But late one night, you got your plan. You'd be religious on demand. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Christian, it's a mask you wear to hide. You got a notion God's a potion, and it works most every time. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Christian. Experiment with your eyes just to get a bigger piece of the pie. I really think you do believe in God, but yet you use religion to deceive. So when it's time for you know who, you feel the change come over you. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Christian, it's a mask you wear to hide. You got a notion God's a potion and it works most every time. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Christian, is it faith? What is a lie? Don't you know that? Can't you see that? God is not your alibi. Now when that change comes over you, there's almost nothing you can do. Now where am I going with that? I don't see too many Christians out in public. I remember working Mary Black, I knew went to church. But then I heard them talk about their husbands, you know what, all day long. I heard them talk about each other, stab each other all day long. I heard the gossip all day long. I heard the girl on girl fighting because I was 60-something women in me. So I'm picking on girls, not because I'm picking on girls, just that was where I worked there. I go to the gym and I'm like, I know who goes to church, but I see who's looking at what they shouldn't be looking at and hooking up afterwards when their wife and kids are at home. I don't see too many Christians. Oh, I see a lot of attitudes. What is it today with Christians who blow their top and there's never even a thought? Because you always got God in your back pocket. He'll forgive you Sunday. I'll go back to him. Well, it's okay. It's okay that I can do this. It's okay to be both sides of the fence. It's okay to ride the fence. It's okay to straddle the fence. It's okay to, follow the rules when you're at church and get up and stand and sing and pray and, you do it on perfect, but yet in the real world out there, you'll break the rules and bend the rules, and who cares what law says? Who cares what God's law says? You know what I'm saying? By the way, not picking, but I noticed something about when this song was wrote in the 80s to things are today, because things have changed, okay? There's been a big, big change. Then, the issues were typically character related. You didn't want to stand up to the guys, and everybody's telling the dirty jokes, so you don't want to stand up or walk away, so you just kind of go along, you join in, the girls are gossiping in their little circle, and you shouldn't, and you really don't want to, but you want to fit in, and these are your friends, so you go along with them. It's more of a character thing then. Things have changed. And this is where they changed. Today, the same things have become a spirit that has captured and oppressed the Christian's mind. Am I right or wrong? Some of you know what I'm talking about. We talk a lot about it here. Giving your mind over to that anger, giving your mind over to that hate. And the Bible warns us in the end times, in the last days, You guys know the Scripture. You know the Scripture. These are the Christian in name only today. Because Paul here, he's talking about Christians. He's not talking about the non-Christians, but the Christians. But mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days. You can change people to Christian. Christian will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure than lovers of God, having a form of godliness without His power, have nothing to do with such people. I told y'all recently about meeting, brother at the cloth, and then meeting an atheist. And it was the atheist that showed love, compassion, heart, sacrifice. And I told him, I said, and the question that was asked of me was, how do you know the Bible was really written, by God, but not by it was written by men? It was, how do you know that that's really from God? And then when I was able to show in her own spirit as an atheist, well, agnostic, she says, but she's never been to church, she doesn't know anything about God, about Jesus. But there was something deeper in her. It was beautiful. And it's bad when I'd rather hang out with the agnostic than it's bad when I can have a real conversation about who God is and the nature of God and changing the world that I can't have with the Christian. And I'm trying not to get out of time. I'm trying not to get out of order because I will run. I want to tell you, this verse would have fit throughout time. Right after Jesus died, right after Paul left the earth. I mean, there's times that this fits individuals. But never has there been a time when it talked about the entire Christian community today, that we have today. Because, honestly, it's an epidemic, it's an infestation. And it's scary that this honestly typically describes the average Christian. Because as soon as you walk out that door, just like Whitehart said, the change comes over you. No longer are you guided by godly principles. Now here's the deal. This is not going to be a negative. This is not going to be a negative sermon that shame on you for not being a good Christian. But I am going to challenge us. But I'm going to tell you. You heard Forrest talk about something that happened here on Friday with the men, and it was good. This is why I preach. Ready? This is my goal. All right? I want all of heaven, and I wrote it down, I'm going to mess this up. I want God Himself to testify that you and I, listen to me, we as a church, because one day you're going to stand before God, and I'm going to stand before God to give account of our lives. If you're a Christian, you're in heaven. That's not the issue. You're going to give an account of your life. You're not on the white throne judgment where you're going to heaven or hell. That's determined when you accept Jesus. You give an account of your life. But so are nations. All right, America. We're all going to stand before God. I gave you this. I bless you with this. Now, what did you do with it? And He's going to look at churches the same way. You are all about you. You only cared about you. It was all about you. Y'all were self-righteous. Y'all were judgmental. It was all about you. And we're going to learn we missed the mark. By the way, we're all going to miss the mark. We've all fallen short of the glory of God. We get that. But I want God. I want when we stand there, that people that we meet in passing. Forrest said about the girls who go to our church at their work. He said twice in here that they're different. There's something about Anna and Dana. There's something different. That's what I want people to say about you. The kind of parent you are, the kind of spouse you are, the kind of friend you are, the kind of citizen you are, the kind of church that we are, the kind of relationships that we have with one another. I want heaven and God Himself to say, not just, well done, my good and faithful servant. I want Him to say, you were different. You know what? Will, you were different. You were willing to face things. You were willing to change things. Not just well done, my good and faithful servant, you made it to heaven. That we're different. That we are Christians that are made from a different substance. I've used that word a time, I've seen it in that video. That we had a deeper spirit, a deeper love, a deeper wisdom, a deeper discernment, a deeper vision, a deeper power and authority and strength. We have a deeper heart and passion and fire. That we have a deeper integrity and we have courage. And that's why I preach the way I do. That's why I challenge this the way I do. And that's why I need you to challenge me too. There is a reason that I want us to find true healing in each of our own lives. True healing. All right? Because true healing leads to what? Peace. And healing and peace comes only when you have an intimate relationship with Christ. Okay? And that can't happen until you trust Him. And when we trust Him, the fears go away. The doubts, the anxiety, the hang-ups, the pains, the sins we can walk away from, the hurt of our past we can walk away from. We can forgive ourselves. We can forgive others. That's why I preach the way I preach. And some people won't handle it, can't handle it, and will run. And I get it. When we are healed, when we have peace, we have an intimate relationship with Christ, and there's real trust between us and Him. And when all these things happen, then the glory of God is what is seen, okay? The glory of God. Now, I'm also trying to prepare us for something. I'm not here to give you a good sermon every week. I mean, I'm really, there is a focus, God's taking us somewhere, and I'm on this bus just like you. You know, pastors, we're taught, okay, here's what you need to do. These are the things you need to cover, okay? These are your 5 areas. And you do a series here, 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 and here. Or when I say there's a series, that series, doesn't matter how long it is, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever. But people who've been around New Spring from the beginning, they all of a sudden notice, hey, he preached about drinking and Christian drink 5 years ago. If you're around long enough, you'll see the pastors are actually on a cycle. We're taught that. We're taught to plan out our sermons a year in advance. Or beyond that. And I get that. You want to be prepared. But the part that we kind of take out of that equation to me is the supernatural. Where is God leading the church? Because I get history repeats itself. I get there's certain things we need to teach, and I teach a lot of things over and over and over from different angles. I get that. But God is taking Christianity somewhere. God is taking the world somewhere. And if you ain't read the end times, baby, you ain't read Revelations, we're all going to end up there. And if we can understand the signs of the time, which I've talked about often, and that scripture there has been used at least twice a month in the last 5 years. I'm making sure that we want to be ready, and that's not us. That's not you. In the end, you can fight it in yourself. You can fight it in me. But I don't want to get in heaven one day and, like I said, you turn around me and go, you didn't tell me. You didn't fight for me. Fighting for people is not in your face, punching you, beating you down. By the way, Willie volunteered for a husband boot camp. All right? So, he has to do that. So, I don't think he understands what that entails. But anyway, there's going to be a lot of people angry with me later. A lot of people, what is my motive? What is my heart? What is your motive? What is your heart? I'm not going to give you that opportunity when the time comes that I didn't tell you. Because one day, we're all going to face something. Ready, Marianne? This is Revelation 13. I'm going to start with 5 through 10 here.
The beast was given a mouth to utter proud words and blasphemies and to exercise its authority for 42 months. It opened its mouth to blaspheme God and to slander His name and His dwelling place and those who live in heaven. It was given power to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them. and was given authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation. All inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast, all whose names have not been written in the Lamb's book of life, the Lamb who was slain from the creation of the world. Whoever has ears, let them hear. If anyone is to go into captivity they will go. If anyone is to be killed with the sword they will be killed. This calls for patient endurance and faithfulness on the part of God's people.
We've got a little bit more to read, but we're going to hit something. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. It's funny how, I think Mary Ann was telling me a couple weeks ago, she goes, I've heard this over, you've taught this over and over, I finally hear it. Remember that? I hear it. I see it. Well, that makes one of us. I'm not sure if I hear it or see it. But they're talking about what's to come. The one world government, the Antichrist, the false prophet. And it says that we're going to come to a place to where if you go into captivity, in the captivity you will go. But God, I don't want to go. I've been a good Christian. Why are you letting this happen to me? My mama did this to me. I don't want to do it. No, there's going to come a day when the end will come. And honestly, we just did a dry run on the end times. And the church doesn't realize what we just went through, what almost happened. And Christians had no idea it was happening. Rights, freedoms, church, Christians being attacked in our own country. And nobody really even cared or even saw it. But into captivity we'll go. What kind of Christian do we got to be on that day? The Christians in 99.9% of our churches today won't face that, can't face that. And they will commit ever since there's only one unforgivable sin, right? Blasphemy. Okay? Y'all get that, right? Denying Christ. Okay. We'll keep going here. But it also says that some of us will be killed. If anyone is to be killed with the sword they will be killed. You know how there's a group of Christians that's going to grab their guns and go shoot, 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 right? We get that. Live by the sword? Live by the sword. Is that being anti-God? Well, it could be rebellious doing that. I don't know. It depends. But when they go to captivity, that's a different kind of Christian that will face the worst and be at peace. Because what's got to happen is going to happen. But you have built an intimacy with God, a trust with God. You're at peace with God that when it comes, you can endure it. And it says, this calls for patient endurance and faithfulness on the part of God's people. Why does it call for faithfulness? Because now we can say we're going to do things for God. I won't deny God, just like Peter. Well, you won't deny, but then we do. Oh, well, okay, God, forgive us. When this day happens, and you deny Christ, you take the mark of the beast, you take a knee. You know, some of y'all got children. You're going hungry. You've lost your house because now you cannot get money out of the bank. You cannot buy. You cannot sell. You have no home. You have no car. Everything that you own, everything that you are is taken from you. And if all you can do now is to still be hung up in your past, in your behavioral issues, in your personality issues, you will surrender that day. And you're going to say, but God will forgive me. No, the rules have changed. And even if they haven't changed, when are we going to get, as Christians, not in name only, but true Christians, that we can deny ourselves and say no to that sin, say no to that fear, say no to that hurt. You will not control my mind, devil. You will not destroy me. I will not surrender to you. I will not bow my knee to you. I'm trying to get us that part. Because if I can get us doing the right things and living for the right things and the right kind of relationship with Him, then I don't got to worry about that day with you or me. But if I can't get us there, then you do got to do worry. Because I am teaching with a purpose. If every pastor who's saying this is the end times or we're in the beginning, if he believes that, then his preaching needs to change. And he needs to look at what Jesus himself said about the church, what Jesus himself said about Christianity, Christians in the day we're living. He's going to say, I don't know you. He says, you're wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, naked, you're arrogant, and my spirit ain't even there, and you don't even care because you feel so good. You got your programs, you got your preaching, they sing for you, we dance for you, we preach for you, we give a program for your kids, we do all this for you, and you don't need me. Pastors have got to change the way they preach. But you know what's got to really change before they change the way they preach? Their heart's got to change. Now, do I live 100% by everything I preach? No, I'm like you, I struggle. We all struggle. We all have doubts at times. We all let the past stick upon us. We all get confused, and in the moment we don't know what to do. We make the wrong choice sometimes. Sometimes we make the wrong choice knowing we're making the wrong choice. Sometimes we let there are certain ones in our lives that pull us across the line. You know, we say we're not going to go there. You know what I'm saying. You know, or something you say, you come up to this altar and you pray, and you tell me, Jeff, I'm never going to do this, X, Y, Z, and that week, as soon as you say you're not going to do it, ding, 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 the devil's going to get, Jesus, I don't know if it's the devil is going to test you, tempt you, or if God's just going to give you an opportunity to prove to yourself. You know what? You don't got to go there no more. You ain't got to go back to the hate, the fear, the anger. You don't got to go back to destroying your own family or destroying yourself. It's like Christianity. Christians, they have no power to change their life. No power to say no. No power to walk away. We sure ain't out there winning the world to Jesus. We sure ain't loving the people whom we love, because we're still caught up in our own hurt that we need the love. We need the love. You have Christ. So we're trying to change things, guys. Now, none of that was in my notes at that point in time. Marianne, finish the story. 15 through 18.
The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast.
This is the false prophet.
So that the image could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666.
Yeah. I love the last verse. I love this translation on this because it says, let the person who has insight. And I'm going to say again, every day when you pray, make a habit of taking time out or a part in that prayer for you. Lord, give me wisdom. Lord, give me knowledge. Lord, give me discernment, insight. So I don't, one, deceive myself, or two, be deceived by someone else or something else. Because when you're watching the news, like Robin had said, when you're watching that, who do you listen to? Who's telling the truth? Who's deceiving? Who has a hidden motive? It's hard to understand some of the things, but yeah. What this Revelation 13 is describing, what the church has to come to grips with, is that one day, listen, one day, they're coming for it. Listen to me. One day, they're coming for it. One day, they're going to burn this to the ground. One day, they're going to arrest you, hang you, put you in jail as a Christian. This saying, one day there is a war on Christians. And if you watch what happened under Obama's reign, not that it's he's the cause of it, but in his years in office, what was happening to Christians in Iraq and Syria? 800,000 to 1 million disappeared, and they don't know if they're dead. They don't know where they're at. And we're here worrying about fighting over personal stuff, well, the whole world. Now, it's amazing to see the Muslim refugees go all over the world. They weren't being attacked. Who was being attacked? Who was being murdered? This was the Christians. 100,000 Christians are dying for their faith every year. And we're like, hey, it ain't coming to America. We okay. No, this says that it's coming to where you and I, and if not you and I guarantee your kids will see it. Your grandkids will see it. My grandkids will see it if I ever had it. Drew's got to figure all that out sooner or later. Sorry, Drew.
It's all right. I heard it for years, Drew.
He actually turned red on that one. You guys get, there is a real war on Christianity. God's people, us, and that's what it's talking about. You know, New York is here. I'm not saying anything wrong here. You know, he was telling me this morning about going to church and things, discussing he had with his wife, and everything he's doing, coming to church, coming to the men's meeting, the changes he's making, is all for his family and himself. And how can God change a family if the leader of that family won't face God if he is? And even if nobody understands what he's doing, he's trying to make changes and let God change him. That's what God honors. There isn't a man in this room or a mother in this room, father, not even a child in this room, that you can't look at yourself in the mirror and go, I need to change X, Y, Z. Not because you feel guilty, not because somebody told you you're ugly or you're not good enough, but because you know between you and God, you're not where you need to be. But there is a war coming. And it's coming.
It's tough.
Now, again, we already talked about some of these. If you don't take the mark of the beast and worship, and you're not just going to take the whatever they put in here, and if it's a thing that tracks you or whatever, who cares what it looks like? But what comes with it is you're going to have to worship the beast. Let me ask you this, where you are today, with children, grandchildren, where you are in your life, can you lose everything, be on the streets, no way to get food, no way to get water, no compassion, no heart, they've killed your spouse, they've killed your parents. You understand this? This is what's coming down there somewhere. But every day that we live is coming a day closer. Can you, in the face of that, still trust God? Be at peace with God. But Jeff, you forgot something, buddy. What's that? What did I forget? We ain't gonna have to face that. We gonna be raptured out. Okay, all right. If you were a Christian before 1930, there was no quote-unquote rapture, as we know, doctrine of the rapture as we know it today. But there are groups, there's whole denominations, even the Catholics don't believe there's going to be a rapture. And if you look at the scripture for that support the rapture, and if you look at the scripture that supports there's no rapture, I'm telling you, you really got to go, wait a minute. We're going to be talking about all that in the future, okay? But here's the deal. What did I tell you? I told people, I got to prepare us, whether if the rapture's coming or not, I got to prepare us. Okay? I got to do that. Now, sometimes, we're going to the rapture. We don't have to go do that. I can just live like I want. It's no big deal. And this is what Art Ravenhill said. Today's church wants to be raptured from responsibility. From responsibility of living the truth, facing the truth, going through it. And by the way, there is nowhere throughout the history of the Bible that God took his people out of something. He made them face it, and he says, the strength I gave you, I am with you, we're going He takes us out, it will be the first time in biblical history that that happened. He will go completely against everything He's taught us in the Bible. Now, I'm okay if He does. Praise God if He does. Like, hey, where do I stand on that? I don't know, just one today. Because I can see where it could go either way. But here's the deal. We don't really want to face it. Because we don't want to face what we don't want to face today. We don't want to face ourselves today. It's just a way out. If we got a way out, we got to go through it, so who cares? I can live like the devil, go to church on Sunday, surrender to everything that's not godly, until that day happens and if you once bow your knee to the Antichrist, you take that, but even feed your children. There is no going back, because you have blasphemed the Holy Spirit at that point. The rules change. I don't want us to be in fear of the future as much as I just want us to do it because it's in our hearts, guys. You guys get our hearts have the change. Now, Christians today need to wake up. You've heard that before, right? You need to wake up. Now, you mean, Jeff, 6 months to a year, in the last year, that somewhere there's a list out there of 1.8 million pastors, church leaders, denominational leaders who signed a non-disclosure non-disclosure agreement with the government. 1.8, almost 2 million under Bush and Obama. The last Bush, the son. You guys hearing this? And what did that non-disclosure do? Well, it gave them probably a paycheck that you don't know that they're getting. Gave them benefits. But it also gave their family an escape clause. That this rapture, this end times thing that they were trying to make happen, oppressive, they wouldn't be killed. They wouldn't go into captivity. They wouldn't be done that. And what do they have to do, those 1.8 million pastors, to get those benefits? They had to sign a thing that when the time comes, that when they send the UN or the soldiers or the government comes to your door, Pastor Jeff or Pastor Fred or Pastor Shelley, all right, all you got to do is go with us to each one of your members' house, tell us who has guns, but when we go in to take their guns and take them, you will talk them into it, that way there will be no bloodshed. 1.8 million pastors have compromised themselves. If we throw rocks at them, how many of us would settle for even less than that? In a sense, to me, that some of them they've already took their 666 and they've marked themselves. But luckily, they're in a time where they can go, Lord, forgive me. Let's rip this up. I will, like it's time. But I really, if they release that list, if the devil wants to destroy Christianity, or if God wants to expose the darkness, they will release that list. Boy, I didn't know I was going to talk about a lot of this stuff. Here we go. Revelation 13:8, it says, this calls for patient endurance and faithfulness on the part of God's people. If we are a Cino, Christian in name only, we will not endure. We will not be faithful. It will take great faith, true intimacy, and trust in God in that day and time for us to survive that. Now, with regards to the Antichrist, the rules change. Everybody gets that, right? So what am I going to talk about today? What am I really talking about today? I'm just setting something up with this, okay? It doesn't matter what we look like on the outside, but who and what we are made of on the inside. Our mind, our heart, our spirit. What's inside, okay, it is what's important, okay? Here's the deal. I see what God's done in us. I see what's special about us. I look at Sarah. I know what's special about her spirit. I know her hopes and dreams. I see stuff that she doesn't even see in herself. Robin's the same way. And I'm always telling people, do you see this? Do you hear this? Did you hear yourself? Are you watching this? Do you know you got that spiritual gift in you? Look. You have the ability. Oh, there's so much in this group. There's so much in you. And you are different. And, you know, we got New York there less than a month. I see a drive. I see a want. I don't see in the rest of us sometimes. Well, Paul saw something different in a church too, okay? And that was the church at Ephesus. He saw something different in them. And because he saw something different in them, he basically wanted to bless them. So he wrote them a letter, and he prophesied over them. You know, the real prophesied, not $10 million, 2 houses, and 14 cats, and 2 dogs. You know, and $1 million, and, you know, 10 million in the bank. And I should just shut up and not go there. Ephesians 1:15-23. Marianne, help me out there for just a second.
This is why, when I heard of the faith in the Lord Jesus that is present in your community, and of your great love for all God's people, I haven't stopped thanking Him for you. I'm continually speaking to Him on your behalf in my prayers. Here's what I said.
Here's what he says over this church. He says, the God of our Lord Jesus, the anointed, Father of glory, I call out to you on behalf of your people. He's prophesying there. Give them minds ready to receive wisdom and revelation so they will truly know you. Open the eyes of their heart and let the light of your truth flood in. Shine your light on the hope you are calling them to embrace. Reveal to them the glorious riches you are preparing as their inheritance. Let them see the full extent of your power that is at work in those of us who believe, and may it be done according to your might and power. Friends, it is the same might and resurrection power that He used to anoint the one, to raise Him from the dead, and to position Him at the right hand in heaven, at His right hand in heaven. There is nothing over Him. He's above all rule, authority, power, and dominion over every name invoked, over every title bestowed. In this age and the next, God has placed all things underneath His feet and anointed Him as the head over all things for His church. This church is His body, the fullness of the one who fills all in all. Now, basically Paul prophesies over this church. This is what he spoke over this church. Give them minds ready to receive wisdom and revelation, so they will truly know you. Open the eyes of their heart to let the light of your truth flood in. Shine your light on the hope that you are calling them to embrace. Reveal to them the glorious riches which you are prepared as their inheritance. Let them see the full extent of your power that is at work. May it be done according to your might and power. Now, wisdom. He gave them 2 things. At the beginning, the first 2 things was wisdom and revelation. What is it that he asked God to give that church? Wisdom, Sophia, I guess. All right, supernatural intelligence. Not something you can figure out on your own. Not something you read or heard another pastor say. But supernatural intelligence. That's what he means by wisdom. That's what the Bible refers to wisdom. There's some lessons I can't teach you. There's some lessons you can't teach your kids. They got to learn it. They got to go through it. God's got to give it. Supernatural wisdom. Revelation. Supernatural disclosure of truth concerning things before unknown. Laying bare, making naked the truth of what is hidden, the manifestation, the appearance of what was once unknown. So Paul says, he prayed over them that they would have, I called out to you on behalf of your people. Give them minds ready to receive wisdom, supernatural intelligence, understanding that you've never had, and give them revelation. Give them, disclose the truth of things that they have before that were unknown, things before that were hidden. Not because it was hidden like the bad guys, but there's things that God reveals to us when we're facing things, when we're going through things. When you're trying to do it, Pastor, the way I'm trying to do it. If God doesn't reveal things to me, I can't do this. I don't have that kind of knowledge. I don't have that kind of education. I don't have that kind of understanding. Except God guides every step that we try to do. Now, where am I going with this? Now the key to these prophecies, the keys is that and who is the power behind all this? Jesus. The same Jesus that the power that raised him from the grave is the same power in every Christian. So this is what I'm going to tell you this morning. Shelly, you can't believe I'm done this part. I figured it would be you of all people. So, as your pastor, I see in you what Paul sees in that church. Even those of us that fight things, even those of us that struggle, even those of us that got hang-ups at times. He saw the need, he had it in his heart to prophesy something over the people. So, I'm going to do that for us. Lord, I call out to you on behalf of your people, this church, these people, you and me, us. Give us minds ready to receive wisdom and revelation so that we will truly know you. Open the eyes of our hearts and let the light of your true flood in. Shine your light on the hope that you are calling us to embrace, because you are. Reveal to us the glorious riches you are prepared as our inheritance, because it isn't here on this earth. We're doing what we're doing not for glory here, but for there. Riches there. Let us see the full extent of your power that is at work. And you're fixing to watch it happen all across this world, all across this nation. You're fixing to watch people come to God that you never thought. And you're fixing to see some of the biggest Christians that you thought were, but trying to be hypocrites and liars and deceivers. And guys, we're going to see the power of God fall. And may it be done according to your mind and power. May you do this. May you tear down our strongholds. May you break the chains and the bonds and the control that the devil has had over us and the deception evil has had over us. May it all be broken. That same mighty power that raised Jesus from the dead is going to do it. Lord, give us that supernatural spirit of wisdom and a spirit of revelation that we will truly know you. Not in name only, not in Christian in name only, but the real thing. Wake us up, Father.
Yeah.
Make us alive. We ask this in the name of Jesus.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
And the sinner was going to the bathroom. Don't understand. His feet just that perfect time.
I'm ready.
Ah, you did.
to go now.
Yeah, you go down. All right, two things here. It's not enough. Two things that are not enough. You ready? There's not enough banana pudding. Somebody's got to make some more. No, that's not what I'm talking about. It's not enough to know him in name only. What did Jesus say to those Christians? Did we do this in your name? And Jesus says, you did that in my name only. And my name has power and authority. And yeah, you cast out demons. But I don't know you. It's not enough to know him in name only. Number two, it's not enough to be a Christian in name only. The key is supernatural wisdom and supernatural revelation, and we're going to need those in the days ahead. And we've already mentioned, Robin's mentioned, a lot of things are about to be revealed and are being revealed. Things are not always what they appear to be. They're not. So I'm going to show something I showed, I think the only person here who's seen this besides myself would be Robin. And I showed this to her the other day. Because deception, well, let me say this. Deception is the hardest thing to deceive, right? Sometimes the very people you put your whole hope and trust in, they're the ones who are, you get it, right? All right. And the Bible warns us over and over. Jesus warned us over and over. Paul warned us. I mean, false demons, false prophets, false teachers, pastors, Christians, doctrine of demons. Oh, the Antichrist. When I started this lesson was actually going to be called the Synagogue of Satan. Let me say this before I go where I was going. The Synagogue of Satan. Okay? But I had to back up because I could have done it, but I did not feel comfortable laying the whole truth. This is where I was going. Shelley, can you read that for me?
To the angel of the church of Smyrna write, these are the words of him who is the first and the last, who died and came to life again. I know your afflictions and your poverty, yet you are rich. I know about the slander of those who you say they are Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan.
Amen. Have you been preached on the fake Jews that are really Satan worshipers? Have you heard a sermon on that? Most of us haven't. But Jesus is talking about it. Forrest, read this for me. This is Revelation 3:17.
To the angel of the church in Philadelphia, right? These are the words of him who is holy and true, who holds the key of David. What he opens, no one can shut, and what he shuts, no one can open. I know your deeds. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. I know that you have little strength, yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name. I will make those who are of the synagogue of Satan, who claim to be Jews, though they are not, but are liars. I will make them come and fall down at your feet and acknowledge that I have loved you.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm taking a few more along those lines. Why hasn't a pastor told me? Why haven't we really preached about some of these things? But anyway, here's the deal. What this is saying, what Jesus himself is saying, they are a group of people who call themselves, show themselves to be God's people, but they are liars, deceivers. It ain't because they're confused. It ain't because they just tripped over a sin or a hurt. But these people are actually the church of Satan pretending to be Christians, pretending to be Jews, in this case, right? God's people. Can there be actually a church of Satan out there that and you know I've talked about all this stuff, this part. So anyway, so here's where we're going with all this. You ready? If that's there, and the church, you know, there's people that have wrote on it and things, but they're not what they appear to be. And let me tell you a little bit where I'm going. What did Jesus say to the Pharisees over and over? You brood of vipers. What's a viper? A snake. What's a snake? Satan. Synagogue of Satan. Well, who was the devil in Genesis? Snake. Start tying the pieces of the Bible that actually connect. And you got to start looking that there's a deception out there that is humongous. Now, before we go in there, maybe today where we're living and what we do every day, some things that we're comfortable with, maybe we're already there. And Matthew 10:16 says, listen, I'm sending you out to be sheep among the wolves. You must be as shrewd, intelligent, and wise as serpents, and as innocent as doves. You guys heard that before, right? Most of us are not very wise. We're not street wise. You know, I mean, and that's just because maybe we're sheltered. But I want to start with this video. All right? We're going to talk about Hollywood. Hollywood. No, you're going to be surprised at what you're going to see. And I'm so grateful to be in the Navy because many things I saw, like hell, I know where the hell is. What's the word for it? And it's right there in the middle of Jerusalem. Huh? Thank you. It's right there in the middle of Jerusalem.
Yes.
And Hollywood actually found its beginning somewhere else. You ready?
Well, hello everyone. I'm taking a walk today in the Hollywood Hills. Am I in the United States of America? I hear you ask. No, I'm just on the outskirts of Rome. These are the Hollywood Hills, no joke. This place is called Nemi, which in Latin is Nemus, or the Holy Wood. You see how all the trees in the hills are very, very ironically similar to the United States Hollywood in California. I think you could pretty much just insert the American Hollywood sign right in the middle of that grove. It wouldn't look much different to what we see on television. Also that lake right in the centre, that's called Diana's Mirror, which emperors used to sail into to assert themselves as stars. You would not believe just how many roads lead to Rome.
Should read. Here it goes. It was a real good information.
really makes you think. I mean, the whole thing is a bit like a net, isn't it? It's like a trap, it's a snare that they would sail into these waters, and then, unbeknown to them, they're actually being sort of lured in by its beauty, and they were to be sacrificed in the temple of Diana. Sounds a little familiar, doesn't it, with the Hollywood of today? That it kind of lures us in with its impressiveness and its beauty, and that really it's Jezebel's net, and people are being sacrificed into it. People give their all to be in it, and people get brainwashed by it, and they lose themselves to it. And people sacrifice so much of their time, so much of their life to Hollywood. It's exactly the same thing. The sheer amount that Hollywood and the mainstream media have changed people, have distracted people, have changed their lives, have made people more self-engrossed, encouraged self-worship. It's amazing how much television has changed this world, has changed so many cultures and corrupted so many cultures across the whole world, all from that one place, casting its spell over the viewers. And sure enough, just off the coast of the water, the temple of Diana, where they used to sacrifice the people that came into this water. So it's clear that the mother goddess worship was very prevalent in this area. The holy wood, the worship of the huntress. You can see the bow and arrow symbolism everywhere. But no telling what people used to do here. They quite literally used to sacrifice those people in this temple of Diana. Of course, this is thousands of years old now. You can vividly picture really how evil this pagan worship actually is. It's absolutely satanic. Look at the fruits of it. Now, still, this is the mistake that some make. They think that this has all completely vanished and this doesn't happen anymore. Well, the Luciferians, they are pantheistic. They worship many gods, and there's nothing new under the sun. This old age of gods and goddess worship is still the new age religion. It's still part of the same thing. It's not disappeared at all. We've been very blessed that Christian values spread across this world. But you can see where it will end up if people fall away from true biblical Christian values of love and loving one another and loving Jesus and loving your neighbour and do not murder. You know, you can see where the world will go. It's not evolving, is it? It's devolving back into the old age lies, but they're just calling it new. Yeah. So it can't be good when you look back at the past and see that this is still part of the same Luciferian religion.
Amen.
It can't be going anywhere good, can it? Because look at what used to happen. Do we want that again?
If you go down to the woods today, you better not go.
You know, it's pretty interesting, isn't it, that this place is called Diana's Mirror, when Hollywood is all about self-obsession, self-worship. It's very interesting. You can see the same fruits in Hollywood today, as we walk around this place which is called Nemi, which in Latin means holy wood. Diana and her holy wood. The lake is called Diana's Mirror. So really, when you think about it, Hollywood is just an extension, an artificial plastic version of what is already here. It's just a modern day replica of what is already on the outskirts of Rome. All roads lead to Rome. So really the one in the United States is like a pseudo modern mock-up version of channeling the same thing, the worship and cult of Diana.
That the temple of the great goddess Diana should be despised, and her magnificence should be destroyed, whom all Asia and the world worshipeth. And when they heard these things, they were full of wrath, and cried out, saying, Great is Diana of the Ephesians.
I'm making my way up to the town of Nemi itself. Notice the male-female symbolism, sex magic of the gate, right in the centre of the town. Wow, look at the top, the moon goddess. A crescent moon with a crown, so obvious. Oh boy. The foundation of the shrine is clearly the Vatican. The Jesuit Illuminati secret societies, guys. And there is the sculpture of Diana, the huntress. Remember also the symbolism we've looked into before with the wild hunt, the European folklore of Europa, you know, the goddess, the wild hunt.
Nimrod was the first one to bring together a coordinated effort of all mankind to come against the truth of the revealed Word of God. Nimrod, the Bible said, was a hunter for souls. My friend, he was a hunter before the Lord. And what he hunted was not deer and elk. He was hunting the souls of men.
And how ultimately it refers to the hunting of Christians. And how Hollywood is being used as propaganda to gear, to prepare the world for that. To prepare the world. And to undermine the Bible and anti-Christian media. So this is all linking to the wild hunt. And actually the folklore, European folklore of the wild hunt, it comes from another dimension. Does that not tell you where the entertainment is coming from? Whose agenda is being pushed through the mainstream media?
How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms?
Hollywood and Emmy, it does, it is its roots. It's part of the same Luciferian religion through deception, witchcraft, satanic worship, human sacrifice, especially children in that day, demonic spells, demonic gateways, opening people up to the supernatural. All these things are actually happening today. We just don't know we're being opened up to the supernatural. We have no idea. They showed a picture of Katy Perry. Remember that? Everybody was black around her. She had the Red Cross. She did that on the Emmys or Grammys, whichever ones for the music. She did that. And if you don't know what you're looking at, that's just creativity. That's just her. No, that was her initiation into the Illuminati. I've had to do a lot of homework. Now, Shelley, Shelley saw a movie recently, and there it is, there it is, there it is, there it is. There's a symbol, there's a symbol, there's a symbol, there's a symbol. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? You can't watch a movie anymore. Once you've been opened up to the truth, you can't watch a movie anymore. You can't listen to a song. You can't watch these award shows and realize they're putting on for you a satanic worship service right in front of you, and Christians are going, there's nothing wrong with that. That's weird. They got blood. That's weird. They got all these people, these orbs all around. Oh, that's Saturn. That's Saturn worship. Saturn is devil worship. The colors mean something. The symbols mean something. You have watched, most people have watched more satanic worship services than they have Christian services, because they've watched the news, not news, but the award shows. We watch their music videos and their movies. Oh, that's demonic propaganda. Oh, that's self-worship. This is the big thing. It's called self-worship, self-possession, self. Where are most of our behavioral problems from? Self. Where are all our personality disorders from? Self-love, self. All these things are fed in together. Everything's fed. Illuminati, secret societies. Yeah, he said it. That. Wait a minute. You know what you're looking at? It means something. The Jesuits will be tied to the Antichrist somehow. And if you want to know the Pope now, all the things he says, all the things that are anti-Bible, he says. He's a socialist. He's a Jesuit. He comes from that line. I'm not saying all of them are, but if you are naive, you don't know what you're looking at. And it says hunting men, the souls of men, mankind, yeah. And I love that he tied in Nimrod, because it's what we're trying to, I've been preaching that forever. Nimrod was the first Antichrist, baby Antichrist, small a. The Antichrist. Remember, he pulled the whole world under him to go after God and build the Tower of Babel. God had to change the languages because it wasn't time for that to happen. But Nimrod, yeah, he's a hunter of souls. If you think Hollywood is it, movie industry is full of hidden and not so hidden messages. Demonic worship, demonic gateways, propaganda, the use of symbols, triangles, by covering the one eye. And by the way, if you watch the advertising just for, say, toothpicks, if you watch advertising for, milk, once your eyes are open, you'll see kids doing this all the time. You'll see, and it's just a picture of a kid, and these kids smiling with the dots over there. I meant to bring all that, but I had too much to put that in. It was going to be too much. All this stuff is, they're introducing your kids and us, and it's right in front of us, and we got no discernment. None. Black and white checkerboards, the use of images, that of the wolf. The way they use it in movies, the way they portray it, it's demonic in nature. There's the Antichrist, the beast. There's the beast, which is the Antichrist himself and the false prophet. And there's the demonic beast within you that wants out. That's angry, that's powerful, that's black. That's how they introduce the wolf. When we watch scenes in movies, ceremonies, I already told you all that. Now, we're Hollywood itself, it is absolutely, and you're going to learn this if you don't know, inundated, pedophile, child sex, child trafficking, Luciferian, devil worship, even demonic child and ritual sacrifice. If you don't know this, you're going to learn it. Where am I? Where are my nudes? I don't want to get too far. Now, things that are connected with the demonic. The thing about the demonic world, it wants to confuse us, right? And it wants to oppress you. What are some things that have confused society today? It's the same things it did back then. Abortion, sacrificing children to the god Moloch and Baal. Baal worship. Oh, it's just an abortion. It's my choice. See, they're selling you it's your choice, but they know it's an offering to the devil. Now, you have a choice as a woman. No matter what the law says, you can have that baby or not have that baby. It ain't really about what it's about to them, and they're not going to tell you. They're about to tell you. It is an offering to the devil, to Baal. What is Baal? Do you even know what Baal stands for? God of many faces. Homosexuality started with Baal worship. Transgender, the changed ones, Baal worship. Cutting, even people who cut themselves, where did that come from? Yeah. It's not saying you're demonic. It just says you're being oppressed with a demonic force that wants you to cut yourself. It wants you to destroy the temple of God. And that comes from a story when Jesus was going to cast out the demon, and the guy was crazy, he was naked, he was running, and he was cutting himself on the rocks. It's right there in the Bible. Every bit of this is in the Bible. Ephesians 5, 6, 12, let no one deceive you with empty words, because such things, God's wrath comes from those who are disobedient. By the way, Jeff, if I have a wolf in my house, am I the devil worshiping? Jeff, if I go to the movies, am I worshiping the devil? Jeff, if I listen to a song that's not Christian, am I worshiping the devil? No, that's between you and God to figure out. I remember dealing with that when I was a kid. Everything was the devil.
Water boy.
Yeah, water boy. Everything was the devil. You know, music-wise. But as I've grown up and got older, I kind of realized some things I don't listen to because it doesn't honor God. Let no one deceive you with empty words, for such things God's wrath comes to those who are disobedient. Therefore, do not be partners with them. Again, should you participate or should you not participate? Well, it has meaning to them, but it doesn't have that meaning to me. So it's okay for me to wear that shirt or to talk like that or to wear those symbols. You've got to figure out if you as a Christian, you and God figure that out. I'm not going to judge you either way. It may keep me from putting people in leadership somewhere, maybe. I don't know. But everybody has their walk with God, and I want you and God to work this out. I don't want to order you what to do. Did I wear Metallica t-shirts? Well, we were too poor to buy Metallica t-shirts. But, and I say that because somebody did a sermon in a Metallica t-shirt. It didn't faze me. I know she doesn't belong to the devil. But if I know that symbol's a pedophile, and it means I like little boys, and I wear that necklace, and all the people out there, and you think I'm gonna wear that necklace with that symbol that says I like little boys, I love little boys, I'm in the sex with little boys? I'm not wearing that. I'm not gonna be associated with that movement. You get it? No. I don't know. Everybody's got their own thing to make. I'm gonna put it on you. This is between you and God. For what was once darkness, now you have the light of the Lord. Live as children of the light. For the fruit of the light consists in all goodness, righteousness, and truth, and find out what pleases the Lord. And nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. It is shameful even to mention what the disobedient do in secret. And this is kind of what this sermon's about. Now, the thing about ecclesia is a Greek word for 1 Peter 2:9. Those who are called out of darkness. That's the church that Jesus, when Jesus says his church, he's talking about ecclesia. That was the title of the church, the called out ones. The ones called out from the sin, the witchcraft, the hate, the pagan worship. The ones called out of sickness, depression, anger. The ones called out of hate and lies. You fill in the blank. The called out ones, 1 Peter 2:9 and 10. But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praise of him who called you out of darkness. There's the word ecclesia. That's where it's at. Into his wonderful light. Once you were not a people, but now you are a people of God. Once you had not received mercy, but now you have received mercy. So, you going to the movies today? I'm not telling you that. Gotta tell you. But I will tell you this. Do these symbols matter? Can you bring stuff into your home that will curse your home, curse yourself?
Yes.
Forrest remembers a little girl named Sam. Forrest remembers a little girl named Sam that we had in the youth group. And one of the youth groups we had together. And her family was seeing things, hearing things. These girls were, these children were terrorized. In fact, we went to the grandmother's house and prayed over grandmother's house. You remember that, Christine? But the daughter was just tormented in dreams and scares and shaking all day long because something's on her, something's following her, and that's all she kept saying: something's on me, something's on me, something's on me. So finally, we went to the grandma's house, we prayed, and then her mom had me come to her house. So we went to her bedroom. Over her bed were 4 pictures she had printed off the internet. Just pictures. Every one of them. I had enough training to know what I was looking at. Because her friends were doing it. I said, Mom, let me show you what that is. We took them off the wall. We went got on the computer. Jeff, I had no idea. Sam came home. We told her. She immediately started crying. She started screaming at me. She was screaming. She knew that was what caused it. She knew they were doing it for the devil. She was just going along with them, but yet she's a Christian and in church. We got rid of them, and we prayed over her. We prayed over that house. We, you know, what we do, you cleanse the house, basically. She never had another nightmare. Can you curse yourself and your family by what you bring into it?
Absolutely.
And who you let into your house? Who you let into your mind?
Yep.
The unseen world is real, church. And Sam's mom, I'm going to tell that story. But some things are out in the open. Listen to what you may hear in this. Listen. Wait a minute. I got to turn it up. You got to hear this. We're almost done.
Was one of the big stories of the week, and I know people. The teacher from Seattle, who is in jail because she is in love. That's how I view it. I admit that it's unorthodox. She is 35. The boy is 14. He was younger when they started. But the big story this week.
Bar mitzvah?
Have I?
No, it's he.
Oh. Okay. But she is pregnant again. That was the story this week. With the second child by this boy. So basically they're having a family and they're keeping the mother in jail because she won't conform to what society feels should be the perfect American family.
Yeah, it's perfect. Mine has 14-year-old.
Absolutely sickening.
What is sickening?
A woman who's over 20 years older and she raped this kid.
Raped?
What?
Come on. She forced? How do you know? And how can you?
Well, how do you know that she didn't rape him? How do you know that she didn't seduce him?
How can a woman rape a man?
I think that an older woman can manipulate a young kid, and I don't think it's really healthy. I don't think it's healthy for a kid who's going to be 14 with 2 kids out in the world. I think those children will grow up fairly damaged. I think that kid's going to grow up fairly damaged.
So you're on her side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, pedophile, you know, love has no age. Yeah, they're trying to pull it over on us. The political, social, Hollywood elites, political elites, be careful. Oh, by the way, rape isn't about sex, it's about power and control.
Yeah. So I'm in prison for the crime of journalism.
This guy is a reporter. He's from London, England, and he's in jail, okay? And I want you to hear his story.
So I'm in prison for the crime of journalism, for exposing Muslim paedophile rapists. British journalists don't seem bothered about this at all. They are puppets of corporate globalist media. In fact, they're not even journalists. They're activists. They want to control the narrative and in effect they want to influence public opinion. Your opinion. Anyone that challenges that control over public opinion is a threat. They're a danger. I'm a threat to the British political establishment. They have invested a lot of time and effort to sweep Muslim paedophile grooming gangs under the carpet, to hide the reality. They know this issue's a tinderbox ready to ignite. A small spark will light a fire that will rage for years to come. Be that spark. People have had enough. They're angry. The British public is rightly outraged. They don't want their children raped, pimped and beaten. The UK government and the judicial system want to keep this issue quiet. Our kids are being abused, molested and raped on an industrial scale. Why are people accepting this? Like it's normal. Like it's just another news cycle. Europe, this is my message to you. All right-thinking right-wing parties need to shout out about this issue too. This problem's not confined to the UK, you know this. You need to highlight the issue using every means at your disposal. Do not let your governments hide the truth. Expose them for the rapists, appeasing demagogues they are. If a globalist establishment in the UK is happy to persecute me, happy to imprison me like this, then they will be just as willing to do the same to you. It's time to fight back by all means necessary. The rape of children is something that everyone should expose. Do not let the corporate globalist media control the narrative. Get out there, expose this sickness for what it is. Force your governments to take action. Force them to go public about the industrialised rape and molestation of vulnerable children. If this happened to vulnerable young Muslim girls, towns and cities all over Europe would become a war zone. Don't be silenced. Don't be intimidated. Rise up and challenge the established political class. Be relentless and know that you are playing your part. Generations of vulnerable children are counting on you. In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. I am Tommy Robinson, political prisoner, 8208 4CG. My life relies on your voice. Do not be silent.
All right, Dove Cameron is a female actor, young underage actor, and Kenny Ortega is a director. Watch this. She's on the left and the purple-looking hair, and that's the old man beside her. That's her director.
The musical numbers are incredible. I just feel, we all feel so lucky to be part of the project and so thankful to all fans who are out there. Thank you.
Okay. Please present the First Ascent movie. First Ascent movie was so well received. Did you feel any pressure going into the second movie?
Okay.
Critical press, they sing, they dance, they bring ideas, and they bring incredible gifts to each of these movies.
Amazing. That was an amazing speech.
I love you.
So much.
Notice that the one thing, her hands were crossed, and she's fingers in finger with the person beside her while he's grabbing her arm.
Yeah.
You tell me a kid that's in distress. You tell me a kid. You show me a kid actor. I want to see one that hadn't been raped repeatedly. And they want to put that into our culture. That's what's been going on. All right, where am I at? Oh, this is going on in Dallas, Texas. Oh, and it's terrible that I had to go all the way to Russia here to get any news on it. I didn't have time to cut off the beginning, sorry. It's not long.
Hello, welcome to Sophie & Co. I'm Sophie Shepard-Knotson. Transgender therapy for children of all ages is gaining popularity at a cosmic speed all over the world. Our efforts to fix what nature apparently got wrong justified, especially at such a tender age, or are we putting our young in danger? Well, we'll talk about that with Jeff Younger, the man who is fighting for his son to remain a boy, and sociologist Frank Ferretti.
Oh, you're a boy, right?
No. I'm a girl.
Who told you you were a girl?
Mommy.
Gender identity is something children as young as 3 are unlikely to.
I'm not even going any further. You get the picture, right? Now here's one that they kept quiet too. Lesbian murderers. 9-year-old son after cutting off his genitals to make him transgender. Why do I got to go overseas to find out truth that happened in America that's hidden from us? I don't know. This was from the 10th. Nancy Pelosi Democrats block another. They tried to get them to pass a bill 68 times now. They'll go for 70, 71, 72 next week to say that killing the baby at birth, or if the baby's born alive, they're going to kill it. So they tried to do a bill against emphasized, but 68 times they said no. So there is a spiritual war, is my whole point of this, and that's the last video. So my closing remarks, okay? Biblical, I don't see the devil. I don't see the devil. You should sense the devil in your discernment, in your spirit, before you ever see him. And if you don't, that's where you need to pray. Second Chronicles 7:14, if my people, who are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, I will forgive their sins and heal their land. Christians have got to say, you know what, I'm American, I'm also a member of this world. Lord, forgive us for what has happened to children. Forgive us for not standing. Forgive us for being blind. Forgive us for not. Ephesians 6:10 and 12, finally be strong in the Lord and in His mighty power, put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. How are we going to say to children we can't get out of our own funk?
That's right. That's right.
Matthew 18, 28, 18 to 20. And Jesus came to him and said, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore, go make disciples of all nations, baptize them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I've commanded you. And surely I am with you always, even to the end of the earth. Inside you today is the love of God, the truth of God, the Spirit of God, the glory of God, the supernatural wisdom of God, the supernatural revelation of God. The same power and authority to raise Jesus from the dead is in you, that you will set the world free from the demonic nightmare of brokenness, manipulation, deception, and lies that has trapped and oppressed it. For God, Timothy, Paul says, for God hath not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. We're Christians going to get a sound mind and walk away, say no to the devil, break the bondage and oppression, because you have the power to break, so we can be used of God in this day that we're living. Everything's about to come unglued in this world, and y'all aren't ready for it, and I'm not ready for it. And we got to minister to a bunch of people. The victims, and a lot of them are adults. There's so much about to happen, church, and we got to rise up. God needs us to rise up. So anyway, that's my sermon for today.
Pastor Jeff, I'd like to make you aware of something.
Yeah.
As we went to Dollywood,
Yeah.
and we were in Splash Country. Yeah. All these kids in bathing suits. We were walking down from the wave pool. Come down where the rides are. There was a man sitting on a hill with his camera going, and he was watching as kids walked by.
He was just watching. He was taking pictures.
I grabbed Stephanie and I jerked her up to me. I said, "Don't move, don't move."
Yeah. And you know what he's doing with the pictures, right?
Oh yeah. Justin freaks out when I do this because she don't get what I know, what I feel, what I know is happening.
Oh, it's happening.
And I grabbed Haley. Haley was coming, and I said, "Haley, come here now, come here." Yeah. I told Jessica. She said, "What is wrong with you?" I said, "You didn't see that man? As everybody's coming down the hill from the wave pool, he is taking. He's got a camera. He was following Stephanie." And I jerked her up to me. I said, "If you want to take a picture, you take a picture of my back." I said, "I need to let somebody know that's in authority here that this man is up here.
But he's not doing anything to break the law. That's the
I
problem.
know, but he heard me and he disappeared.
Oh, he'll run.
Oh, yeah.
They'll run.
He got gone. And then they come to me and said, when we went to one of the rides, there was a path that went, don't ever go down a path. You don't know where it leads, because whoever has got a picture of you has got somebody watching for you. And they don't understand. I always say, be aware of your surroundings. Always be aware of your surroundings.
Well, if you had been here, I did put out the number. I don't know if you've heard this, but I've put it out repeatedly. The numbers from our federal government says 600, no less than 600,000 per year. But usually it's 800,000 kids in America get gone every year. And we've never really, we hear occasionally about somebody, occasionally 800,000, at a minimum 600,000 per year over the last 20 years. Thought it was 10, went back, it was 20. How does almost 1 million kids per year get gone?
Yeah.
And we don't know. Oh, and so when you try to, and I get Jessica's got a trusting heart. She's got a loving heart. But see, they don't. They have no heart. Psychopaths, sociopaths, they have no heart. They will kill your kids. How do you go to these devil worshiping services they go to and you kill people?
Right.
They're not you. They don't have your heart. They don't have my heart. They don't have your spirit. They're capable of doing anything and never have a conscience. And that's why Paul said to Timothy, the hypocritical liars whose consciences are seared, they will destroy you. And they own our federal government. They own Hollywood. They own our businesses.
No, you're just being paranoid. You're scaring them. Don't scare them.
Oh, from what I've learned firsthand now from research on this stuff is this. You ready? I remember times we went to Busch Gardens in Virginia and Drew went down there while me and Dana got on the big ride. I don't care if he was 5 or 20. Ain't no way. Man, I was so lucky that he didn't get gone that day. It's that evil. When you find out how many millions are being trafficked, I'm done talking. I love you guys. I want to put on a song. Maybe there's something you want to pray about. I know a lot of us have been abused emotionally, sexually, physically. You know, God can help with that. We will help with that. If there's something on you you can't beat, we can help with that if you want to do this. But God has called His people, His church, not to be Cino, Christians in name only. And we're not to know Him in name only. But to know Him is to know His power and to have His power. And we are to rise up. You know? And I want us to be that church that they'll say, okay, you're different. Not because you're strange. By the way, if you're different in this world, you are strange. By the way, okay, call me. There's a song called Strangely Different. that's me, baby. Strangely different. You can look at me all you want. But the thing is, I know we all got hang-ups. But when I look at what God has actually done, and I look how evil the world is, why am I even struggling with that anymore? Why do I let that voice come back around? Why do I'm a fool. I'm a fool. No, we need to rise up and cross that border and not look back at our past, except to use it for the glory of God. So I know it's late, but I love you guys, and I hope this mattered. I hope it wakes you up. But seriously, you can't. Robin and Shelley tell you, you can no longer look at anything anymore and not see it. But I love you guys. Song, if you want to come pray, please pray.